What I learned about trying to be a nice guy or trying to be a people pleaser, trying to be the person that always tries to keep the peace and always tries to stay away from conflict and mind my own business. What I learned is that the conflict will still follow you. You can do everything in your power to avoid just certain situations and avoid just certain just manipulative, psychotic people. And somehow this life will put those people right in front of your face or put you right around them. And it's like, okay, this is not just something that is random. This is orchestrated. It feels like, and I may sound crazy saying this, but it feels like there's like a ghost or a demon that follows me, and it watches like let's say it's like a happiness meter, and if my happiness meter goes to green or goes to positive, this entity or this being, it does something around me or it does something that's calculated to bring down my happiness meter, so it goes back down into the red or to the black or into the orange or something like that, right? And I know that sounds weird, but there's been times, bro, where I felt like something was watching me. And I know a lot of people, what the hell, but like there's been times where I be in a certain place by myself, but I can feel like there's something watching me. And then there's those cases of like severe depression where I feel like I'm watching my body from third person view, and it's like you're depressed, you're stressed, you're worried, like you don't know when your next meal is going to come. You don't know when you're going to lay your head at next. Like you just don't know. There's so many unknowns, and all those unknowns, they add up. It's like trying to build like a strong bridge in a sandstorm or something like that. It's just not going to work. You need it. You need solidification. You need some type of consistency in this world. You need something real in this world. And a lot of us, man, we need to just have like real people around us. Like that's what we needed. Like we just need to have real, good, genuine people around us. And I guarantee that a lot of us would have went a lot farther instead of having like friends, like quote unquote friends, or I call them frenemies. Like they're around. Like every time you have something to offer, they're around. They want to call you up. But the second you don't have any money, or if you don't got any tree, or if you're just by yourself with nothing to offer, then they just turn their backs on you. They stop answering your phone calls. You text them, they don't text back, or they may text back 3 days later, or if they even text you at all. And it's just like you got to play that game. Like you ever play phone tag with certain people? That's what made me just stop. That helped me. That helped me just cut off people for a long time. You know, like very few people I actually text. But when I was younger, sometimes you'll text certain people, right? And let's say if they were like quote unquote more popular than you, and sometimes they don't text back. You know, or sometimes you can tell that they read your message, they just ignored you. It's just like a form of like disrespect and a hierarchy. And that hierarchy is all based on looks. That's why, like, whenever you're in a friend group and you're like the short guy or you're like the guy that's not the most attractive, you're going to be the butt of all the jokes. Everybody's going to make fun of you. You're going to be the punching bag when the females come. When all the girls come, everybody's going to look at you and start wanting to like pick a fight with you, start wanting to try to punk you out, start trying to talk to you crazy, disrespect you, make you and they'll do certain little actions that they'll never do. Like if it's just you and the boys, like they may go there, but they're not going to take it to like that next level. But when the females come, they take it to that next level instantaneously. They say certain things, they tease you, and it's just like there's no brotherhood for guys in this situation, for guys in this position. You already have to face the world by yourself. Now you got to face, psychological rehabilitation and rejuvenation by yourself. Like, how can you rejuvenate your mind? How can you heal your soul when you're in a constant state of worry, in a constant state of anxiety, in a constant state where you're always being monitored for negativity, where you're surrounded by so much toxic environments and toxic people? How do they expect you to come out with your head clean? You know? And then they try to keep on using the propaganda saying, be a nice guy, be a gentleman, open doors for females and do all that. And then when you do all that, you still get stepped on. You get walked on. You get ignored. You know, Women don't really respect a man that's too nice, Women, they want a man who got some nuts, who got some balls, who got some spice to himself, and not somebody who's, you know, just easy to be pushed over and manipulated. This is why a lot of these thoughts and these bops, when they're younger, They give all their, their 20s to like the Chads and the Tyrones, and then when they hit their 30s and 40s, that's when they find the oofy doofy. And then the oofy doofy has no sense because he's blue pilled and he thinks that he won the lottery. And then when he goes and inserts his private part, he feels like he doesn't feel anything. It's like inserting your private part in the Grand Canyon. It's just that you don't feel anything, and it's like, what the hell. But in his mind, he still thinks he got him a deal, not knowing he's just having Chads and Tyrone's leftovers. Right? But that's what being a nice guy will get you. It'll get you Chad and Tyrone's leftovers. And it took me a long time to really get a mindset where it's like I have to really focus on me and my financial stabilization. I can't really try to be the nice guy. I can't try to save people who don't want to be saved. Like if I tell somebody, "Hey, do you want to make music? You want to take this music shit serious? You want to make beats? You want to send me beats? I rap over it or something like that if I can, whatever." And not everybody's serious about it. It's just like, damn. I never ran into people that were really serious about it. You know, I just wish one day I could. You know, because when you're a guy in this position, you don't have much, man. All you have is your hopes, your copes, your dreams, and some of your ambitions or inspirations, if you have any of those left, if your soul hasn't been totally drained, because every day living like this is a struggle. Living with no woman, living with no money, living with no car, living freaking homeless, figuring out how you got to eat. Then you got to figure out what store, that you can go into without being harassed by certain people. Because let's be honest, in certain areas, it's kind of like how they kind of like without saying it blatantly, they kind of price range certain people out of in areas. So this is why you go to a certain area and you'll see a lot of rich people, nice cars, BMWs, Mercedes Benz. You may even see a Bentley or a Lamborghini. Like you see these cars like it's nothing, right? And then I don't know if you guys ever noticed this, but if you ever go to let's say like a rich person's grocery store, like everything there is fresh. The meat's fresh, the fruit's fresh, the chips are fresh. Like if you go into those rich areas and go in the grocery store, the food is just a lot better than if you ever go into the ghetto. You know, that's when you get like the steak and you pour soda with it and you see worms coming out. That's when you get the chips that are stale. That's when you get the fruit that's that's already expired. That's why things is a lot cheaper in these ghetto areas, but it's overall more bad for your health. And that's another thing. Like in order to eat healthy, it's a little bit more expensive, and then even then, it's not guaranteed that they don't put some type of cancer causing chemical inside the damn inside the mixture of whatever ingredient that compounds, and when it compounds, it's just like a calculated risk. So every time you eat this American food, every time you eat this junk that they call food, it's like, yeah, it tastes good, but then like in a few more hours, you're hungry. You're hungry again. You got to keep eating and eating and eating, and it's like, it's not healthy. And especially when you're a NEET, man, psychological ramifications. When I was a NEET for real, bro, I became a foodie, bro. Like inside my little NEET cave, I had chips, all types of different types of Doritos, hot Cheetos, soda, Sprite, Coca-Cola, root beer, you know, cakes, little pies, especially my grandma was alive. I had it set up like in a way, like if you walked into my little NEET cave, it kind of looked like a liquor store in a way, you know, and I would just blow Mary Jane to the brain, play video games, make beats, write little raps. And I was like, I didn't even think about making, like I made videos then, but it wasn't like how it is now. It was like just random video, like every once in a while I have a video like this where I'm talking or whatever, but it never got any views or no one even cared. I got lucky when I became the Black Pill villain to even get any attention. I just start speaking from my heart and just telling life how I see it and how it is, right? But I don't know, man. Like the system is just set up in a way where if you think like an individual, if you think like somebody that has some damn sense, then you're the one that gets targeted. You know, like what a perfect evil soul trap. Where it's designed so the people that can see the soul trap are made to believe like they're the crazy ones, when in actuality they're the ones who are saying that they're the ones that got some damn sense, right? And as you get older, guys, you're going to start to learn that the truth, no one really cares about the truth. If the truth doesn't come from a pretty person, if the truth doesn't come from an attractive person, like you can be somebody that's unattractive and you can tell the truth and no one's gonna care. Like they're not gonna care about your struggle. They're not gonna care about your battles, your wars, your tears. They're not gonna care about that. But if you're an attractive person and you just tripped over your damn bed or something like that, or you just you just dropped your car keys on the floor, then everybody's gonna kiss your arse. Everybody's gonna come to your help and your aid. Now, is that a right thing to do? Of course not, man. But we got to understand that we live in a world that's all about judgmental looks. It's all about artificial crap. This world contains no deep substance. If you peel back the layers and everything, you're going to see all types of evil and wickedness. You can look into the food industry and see the cancers they put in the food. Look into the medical industry, how certain people, certain demographics, they purposely target and they purposely give subpar health care to certain people. And then add that plausible deniability in it and say that they did give good health care. But if you look at them closely, you see all type of errors and weird patterns forming when there's certain people that come into those hospitals and they never leave them. Meanwhile, other people can go in those hospitals and they go in just fine, right? So that's another scary aspect about being my skin color configuration is that you have a whole nation that's trying to break you. They're trying to break you psychologically because of the 9 to 5. They're trying to break you because they don't want you happy. They want you to get sick because of all the pressure and all the stress, and you have no woman in your life and you have no money and you don't know what to do. Then you go into the hospital and then they try to neutralize you there and then play dumb about it. And then it's all silent, hush, 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 quiet, quiet. What kind of evil, sick, twisted world is this? And it doesn't matter if you're a Christian or not. Because even if you're a Christian or whatever, you're still going to go to the hospital. You're still going to take your medication, right? Like you're not going to put 100% of your faith and not take your medicine, like your heart medication or whatever. When the doctor tells you to do that, you're going to take your heart medication because deep down inside, you know that God's a bastard and he doesn't care about you. He could easily save you, but he doesn't want to. We got to understand that the God of this world is not what we think it is. It's not what we were taught. It's not some loving, caring father. It is the demiurge from Gnosticism. He feeds off our negative, energetic manifestation on frequency, and I'm going to keep saying it until it's embedded inside your brain because this is the truth. Look at your life. Look at what happened. Look how no one cared. Look how they attacked you and they kicked you when you were already down, and they didn't care. This world doesn't care about people in our position. They want us to be miserable. They want us to be psychotic. They want us to be able to just soak in our misery. But I'm sick of that. I say we find our little bit of talents and we try to put it to use. We try our best to uplift ourselves, even though we're trapped in this hell, even though we're trapped in this psychotic, twisted dimension that gains us no damn ascension. And a lot of us don't get no female attention. Brutal. But that's just the nature of this wicked realm that we find ourselves in. Just trapped in obscurity. A lot of us had dreams and ambitions, like we wanted to be somebody in life. We didn't just want to be some normal trash man or somebody that's a plumber. There's nothing wrong with that. But some people really had the skills, the talents, and the attributes to be more in life. And the fact that we weren't allowed those opportunities that other people got, and they're able to live out their dreams and have everything they ever could imagine, it's just not fair. But then you learn that the demiurge has his favorites. The demiurge made the world not to be fair on purpose. This is why, in the middle of the damn jungle, you can have a tiger and a deer. There's no way a deer can fight a tiger. It's just unfair. It's like this God made it in the favor of the tiger. So every time the tiger runs into a deer, the tiger's pretty much going to win 100% of the time, unless the deer gets lucky and jump off a cliff or something like that. Do you see how life is already rigged in that aspect? Now imagine how human beings are when human beings judge each other on how you look like, how tall you are, and people judge you within the first millisecond of them seeing you. The first thing people judge, they see your skin color configuration. And then the second thing is they see your face. And a lot of times the first thing they see is your face, and then and then they may see cause if you're really attractive, then they see your face first. And then they're gonna identify your race or whatever. Right? But race is still important. We gotta remember that. And attractiveness, does come. It comes in all races and all flavors and all colors, But there are certain aspects and certain cultures that are upheld to a higher standard, and it's more of like a universal beauty code. And I'll just stop right there, right? But a lot of people, man, they wouldn't be able to survive the things that we survive. They wouldn't be able to be isolated and devastated and annihilated for such a long time. A lot of people would break under this type of pressure, under this type of agony, being alone and being in misery and just daydreaming your life away, knowing that you're capable of so much more, but yet you're trapped in this damn prison where you're forced to do things that have nothing to do with what you really want to do, but you have to do it in order to keep a roof over your head and in order for you to have any type of money coming in. And then nobody taught you financial literacy. Nobody taught you that you could earn money doing what you love, that you could earn money, creating things. No one taught you that. And no one taught you what a digital asset is. So you don't even know what that is. And you're coming into the world like unprepared for battle, because coming into this world without having any financial literacy is like stepping on the battlefield, you know, with no shield, no sword, not even a bow and arrow. You're just gonna get ripped in half. You know, you have to come into this world with financial literacy, and it's something that I learned later in life. You know, having a 9 to 5 is extremely important, but also creating something on the side that can generate money for you is even more important, because how like these 9 to 5s are nowadays, they just fire anybody, and it's hard as hell to get hired. At least if you have your own business going and it's generating at least $3,000 a month, maybe something higher than that, but at least $3,000 a month. That's enough for you to at least get you, maybe some little dingy apartment somewhere, and that's 3,000, every month guaranteed, right? That can help certain people out. But those people out there that make millions of dollars, and they wonder why guys like us in this position kind of stay to ourselves. Like we don't like being bothered too much. We like to just play our video games, stay in our little parameters and in our little area, and just do things that make us happy, right? Ultimately, man, life should be something that should be enjoyed. Like, this life shouldn't be so as it is for us, like as if like we're being punished for existing. It's like you got to pay for everything when you exist. Like, we're literally being punished just for existing. It's like, I don't think it should be that way. I think existence should be something that should be celebrated. It should be happy. It shouldn't be something that we have to struggle through every single day. And we have nobody to really talk to, nobody that has our backs. I think that has to be one of the most painful things, bro, is that nobody has your back in this situation. There's people that think you deserve it. There's people that they love the fact that you're in this position. They're laughing at you. They're making fun of you. And it's like, you kind of wish that there was like a sci-fi thing where you can see them on the battlefield, and I'll leave the rest to your imagination. Right? Because I think that's the only way certain people will learn, to get them out of their mindset of ignorance and negligence and foolishness, you know. And it's like, I want to go to a realm where I can just be myself, like, especially as a brother. Because, I mean, when you're a brother, man, and you're not King Von, it's going to be a very difficult time when it comes to the dating market. Hell, when it comes to respect market, like if you're a square, brother or whatever, you got your glasses on, people gonna try to punk you. They're gonna try to, whatever. But if you take those glasses off and you start wearing like some type of chain, and you start showing that Glock you start showing that Glocky with the switch, then all of a sudden everybody gives you a little bit more respect. You start talking, you start acting ignorant, then all of a sudden everybody start, acting like they got some damn sense. It's like, because there've been times, bro, where I try to be polite and try to talk nice, and then people would mistake that for weakness. And then when I start acting, stereotypical, then all of a sudden they kind of fall back and let me through. And it sucks that you have to act like that sometimes when you're a guy like this, because people already kind of fear you. When you're like the black sheep in the family, you don't say too much. You kind of just keep to yourself. They're all talking about you. Because they all want to know what you're thinking. They want to know what you're thinking. They want to know what you're doing. They want to compare their life to yours. They want to do all these things. That is what somebody that does that's insecure, like the God they follow, an insecure bastard, right? That's how these normies are, just like the God they follow. What God is going to declare itself a jealous being? That shows so much insecurity. It's not even funny. Yet people will worship it anyway out of fear. That's the true abomination. Is that fear can lead the entire generations of people for thousands of years, and they worship this God, and nothing still changes. Still the same. Still war. They've been praying. They've been praying for Jesus for thousands of years, and you still see war, destruction, corruption, poverty, pain, agony. Right? And plus, the ancient Hebrew didn't even have the letter J. You know, right? So yeah. So there's a conflict like that. There's a complication right there. You know. So you go ahead and do your research and evaluation on that, man. I just can't stand this realm, bro. Every day I just think about, I don't know if you guys seen that one video. It was that one YouTuber, and he had how can I say this? He had like a shotgun from like Gears of War. Let's just say that, and he did a self curb stomp. Yeah, yeah. You know how you curb stomp in Gears of War? Well, he pretty much did that, and instead of using his foot or using his military boots, he utilized his shotgun. And when I seen that video, you can tell in his eyes he was fed up, right? He was fed up. And like I think sometimes I get to that point where I'm fed up too, right? Because this world can do that, bro. This world can definitely, it can make you snap, honestly. This whole world can make you really snap. It's like people don't give us our props. Like guys like this in our position, like we deserve to have some props because a lot of people would never survive the situation that we're in. A lot of people would lose their mind. A lot of people would go on the offensive. A lot of people would get more defensive. A lot of people they would absolutely lose their mind. They have to go into a mental hospital. So I got to pat myself on the back for maintaining my senses and maintaining myself in this calamity. Even when I hear voices, even when I feel distraught, when I feel like I'm being watched, when I feel like I'm looking at myself from a third person perspective, I got to pat myself on the back because, I did not, give in to the voices. I did not crash out. I did not, do anything bad. I, you know, retained my senses and tried to maintain, but it's difficult, bro. Like we live in a difficult world without any help. Sometimes I wish I was like 7 foot or 6'5" so I could play in the NBA, right? Just like sometimes I wish I was that attractive guy, so I'd be able to get a good girl so easy, have multiple women. You know how many women, like, if you're an attractive guy and you say you're homeless and you ain't got nowhere to go, how many women will open up their doors to you just as quickly as they open up their legs to you, and then open up their throats as well, you know? Like that's an advantage. That's pretty privilege, pretty much. And a lot of us, we got the exact opposite of that. We got, we got the monster privilege. It's not even a privilege. It's just we got the monster curse. We just look like, we just look horrible. And I always knew when I was younger, man, it would be too good. It was too good to be true to be a rich and famous rapper, having millions of dollars, riding Bentley coupes, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, having beautiful women. I always knew that was too good to be true, and it seems like I was right. It just seems like whenever something's too good to be true, there's a reason. And when you're a guy in this position, bro, you already know what it is. You know damn well that whenever there's something even if it's just a little good something that happens, something worse is on its way. It's on the horizon to make your life a living damn hell. I wish I was a multi-millionaire, man. I wouldn't have to worry about none of this crap. I wouldn't have to worry about being homeless. I wouldn't have to worry about, not having no food. I wouldn't have to worry about not having no money. I wouldn't have to worry about, a lot of things. And then, like, I thank the people that do occasionally. People may cash at me or they may PayPal me. I thank you guys. You guys definitely help me out because I ain't got nothing. And you guys, are generous. And I appreciate that. But yeah, that's all I gotta say, man. I'm about to pass out. I'm sleepy as hell. Peace.